Hello, boys and girls. Mrs. Gorski's back with another video, and I have a very special guest today. I have Mrs. Cassidy with me.
Hi, boys and girls.
What we're going to do today, we are going to be playing the game Guess My Number. Now, if you watched my video prior, we were talking about different types of questioning strategies that we could use in order to solve for the number that is unknown. So let's just review that a little bit. The first one we talked about was even versus odd. So if we remember, we talked a little bit about even Stevens are so great, they end in numbers 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. Odd Bobs are so fine, they end in numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. Now we also talked about numbers that are greater than, less than. Greater than means more, bigger. Less than means smaller. So we also had one more that we were talking about in my last video, which was tens versus ones. So I'm pointing to the number 38. If you're looking at the 8, that is in the ones place. If you're looking at the 3, that is the tens place. Remember how we were asking, maybe does your number have an 8 in the ones place? Does your number have a 2 in the tens place? So they were different kind of questioning strategies that we were using in order to find the number that we were guessing for. Now, Mrs. Cassidy is going to go first, and she is going to decide on a number. I do not know what that number is. So I'm going to question her, and she's going to tell me if I'm correct or not. All right? So, Mrs. Cassidy, the first question I'm going to ask you is your number even?
It is an even number, Mrs. Forsky.
Okay, so since her number is even, boys and girls, remember it's an even Steven, so it ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So that means I'm going to pick a color, and I am going to take out every odd number because now I'm not going to need the odd numbers because her number is not odd. So that means I'm going to take every number out that is in the ones column, the threes column, the fives column, sevens column, and the nines column. So now I have to start thinking about another question that's going to help me eliminate more numbers. Now notice, since I just asked a simple question, if it was even versus odd, I already took out most or half of my board. So now I'm going to think about a different color, and I'm going to ask her a different question. Is your number greater than 50, bigger than 50?
No, Mrs. Gorski, it's not greater than 50.
So if it's not greater than 50, then that means I have to go and I have to take out the numbers that are greater than 50 because I don't need those now because obviously her number must be less than 50. Okay, so let me start thinking about this. Maybe could your number be less than 30? Smaller than 30?
Mrs. Gorski, it's not less than 30.
Oh, well then that means I have to take out anything that is less than 30 because she said, no, it's not less than 30. Oops, I will make a correction there real quick with my color. So now I have to think about, maybe I could start questioning with the tens versus the ones. Does your number have a 3 in the tens place?
It does have a 3 in the tens place.
Okay, so that means, boys and girls, I have to look at the starting number here. So that's the tens place. So now anything that does not have a 3 in the tens place is going to be eliminated. So now I could start picking those simple questions like, Mrs. Cassidy, is your number 38?
It's not 38, Mrs. Gorski.
Okay, maybe is your number 34?
It's not 34.
Oh no! Is your number 36?
No, Mrs. Gorski,
Oh,
it's not
goodness.
36. Oh,
Is it 32?
it is 32.
Oh, bingo, kiddos. We found it. So notice how I was using those different kind of questioning strategies in order to solve for this particular number set. So her number was 32, and I started with even or odd. I went to greater or less. Then I talked about place value, tens place. And then I started to pick those simple numbers. So now what we're going to do, we are going to play this game one more time. And I am going to clear the grid. And I'm going to pick a number. And she's going to question me about my number. And then I'm going to clear the grid and let's see if she could pick it. So here's I'm thinking about my number. And Mrs. Cassidy, what is your first question to me?
Mrs. Gorski, I think I'm going to use greater than or less than strategy.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you, Mrs. Forsky, is your number greater than 50?
My number is greater than 50. So that means anything that is less than 50, boys and girls. Now that means I'm going to take all of this out. Now notice Mrs. Cassidy did not start with an even or odd, but that's okay. Greater or less works beautifully with eliminating or taking away a lot of numbers. So notice it looks like a good amount of my numbers are gone now, just with one question. All right, so now let's think of another question.
Mrs. Gorski, is your number an odd number?
My number is an odd number. Oh my gosh, she knows how to ask these questions. So since it is odd, that means now I am going to take out anything that is even. Remember, even Stevens are so great. They end in numbers 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So I'm going to go through these rows or through these columns, and I'm going to take those right out. So notice, look with just two questions. Look at all of those colored numbers now. So she reduced this greatly.
So Mrs. Gorski, I'm going to ask you now, is your number less than 70?
My number is not less than 70. So that means, boys and girls, I got to take out anything that is less than 70.
Mrs. Gorski, I think I'm going to start with the place value too, or I'm going to use place value now. So
Okay.
I'm wondering, does your number have an 8 in the tens place?
An 8 in the tens place? Unfortunately, it does not.
Oh, okay.
So that means I got to take out anything that has an 8 in the tens place. Now, this one's already colored because we took him out earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, nope.
Okay. Does your number have a 9 in the tens place?
A 9 in the tens place, Mrs. Cassidy? It does not. So that means, boys and girls, I got to take all of those out. But just with those questions, look, we are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers left.
Wow. So I'm just going to take a quick guess. Is your number 75?
My number is not 75.
Okay, that's all right. So I have 4 guesses left.
Yes.
Is your number 77?
Ding, ding, ding. It is 77. That is my number. Very good, Mrs. Cassidy. You did a great job at your questioning strategies, and that's how it helped me find that number really fast. So boys and girls, I hope that you could maybe try some of these at home, maybe with your parents. You could try some of these questioning techniques because we will also be doing them in school, potentially on our lives as well. So have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed our game.
Bye. That was so much fun.